Good morning, everyone. We are now starting with chapter number one of statistics for economics. We've already discussed the initial part. I will repeat that part for all of you, those who missed the class, and also then I will move on to the later part of the chapter. Now, economics is all about utilizing the limited resources and deriving the maximum satisfaction out of it. Now, the resources are limited, which is why we call them that the resources are scarce. Scarce is the term that we use, and this is the basic term which leads to the study of this subject economics. Why would we study a subject when the resources are unlimited? Then we wouldn't have to find out which combination is better, or which method of utilization of resources is better. We wouldn't have to worry about it. Now that the resources are scarce, now we have to find out the best way to use the limited resources. The resources are extremely limited, and what we want is the highest level of satisfaction out of them. We want the maximum satisfaction out of these resources. So what we do is we convert these resources into something useful, and this useful then gives us a level of satisfaction. Now, this is the very simple way of explaining what economics is. Now, I will move on to discuss the types of activities in an economy. This is just the introduction. You don't have to get into detail right now. This is it that you need to study. Okay. Now, I am going to discuss about two types of activities that we have in an economy, not economics. In an economy, we have two type of activities. Number one is economic activity, and number two is non-economic activity. Okay, pardon my handwriting. So economic activities are basically activities undertaken to earn money, as you've already studied in the previous class. Anything which is done to earn money, any productive activity undertaken to extract money out of it. And these non-economic activities are not related to money, they are just done for satisfaction. So this does not involve money. Okay, so example, a housewife cooking food for her family, or a teacher teaching her own son. So uh, the in these two activities there's no money, there's no payment involved, so these are activities, but they are non-economic. They do not deal with the money part. Now, in the economic activities, example is a worker working in a factory, a shopkeeper selling goods in a shop, a doctor attending to patients. So these are the examples of economic activities, because in each of them there is money involved. Okay, now this book is only going to talk about all economic activities. We're going to discuss each activity in detail, how things revolve around these activities, and how do people behave in different situations under the economic activity scenario. This is what we are going to discuss. Now, let's only talk about economic activities. There are three major parts of economic activities. Number one is production, or I would say first let's talk about consumption, then production, and then distribution. Okay, so basically these three are the stages, or the main economic activities that every economy has to undertake. Okay, now consumption is an economic activity which deals with the use of goods and services, basically consuming goods and services for the purpose of satisfaction of human wants. मतलब हम लोग goods and services, we consume them and we derive satisfaction out of it. This is simply consumption. Example, example, we are drinking milk, we are wearing clothes, so this is all part of consumption. The second one is production. Now, production refers to activities which are undertaken to produce. Here we were consuming, here we are producing. To produce goods and services for the generation of income. Here, the major objective was satisfaction of want or wants. Every human wants to satisfy his or her need. Here, the objective is to generate income, and of course that will lead to satisfaction of human wants. This is also one of our wants, to generate income. So example could be uh, activities of a farmer or carpenter or a teacher or a doctor. So these all come under production. Production is basically a process of converting raw materials. I've already discussed it. Converting raw materials into finished products. Okay. I will also be talking about what happens in production, what are the factors of production. This we will talk about little later. Then these two are considered as the vital elements of the economy. These are very essential activities, and every individual is either engaged in consumption or in production or in both. So these two are very important. The third one is the distribution. Now, distribution is an economic activity which studies how income is generated. Uh, how income which is already generated is now distributed among the factors of production. Now here factors of production comes into the picture. What are factors of production? So I will erase the first two parts and I will only talk about the distribution and factors of production part. Like I told you, in the production activity, we have to convert the raw materials into finished goods. The raw materials, you could say, are the factors of production here. The raw factors of production has four parts to it: land, labor. This all you have already been introduced to. These concepts are not new to you. Land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. These four are the basically elements, are the inputs that you require to produce any good or service in the economy. You require all four factors of production to produce goods and services. So distribution is basically first production happens, you earn income, then you distribute that income among these factors of production. How do you distribute the income? You give rent to the land, you give wages to the labor, you give interest to the capital. Now capital here is the money that you invest, and the remaining is the profit that goes to the entrepreneur is the one who puts his skills, is generally the owner of the business, who has put his time and effort into building this kind of business. So this is how you pay or you distribute the income among the factors of production. So what is the distribution process? The third activity is basically distributing the income which is generated in the economy and then selling it to, distributing it to the factors of production. Of course सी बात है, अगर आप एक business चला रहे हैं and you're earning out of it, you are supposed to pay the money that your factors of production have worked for. So you need to pay rent to the land, wages to the labor, interest for the capital, and profit for the entrepreneurship. So this is how distribution happens. And overall, I've talked about three major activities in an economy: consumption, production, and distribution. We've talked about economic activities, we've talked about non-economic activities. Okay, so this is the overall introduction of the chapter. Most of you are already aware of the concepts. Those who are not, um can still be briefed out through this video. I hope this will help you out. There are few terms that I want to talk about before moving on to the uh, further part of it. So, like I am telling you, there are two, three terms that I want to tell you about. Although we will be discussing them more in detail in microeconomics rather than statistics, but since I have introduced economics to you, there are few terms that you should be aware of. Majorly, why do we study economics, or why is there a need to utilize the resources, to be so stressed out about utilizing them in the best possible manner? Whatever you have been given, you are always concerned with how to make the best out of it. Why? Because number one thing that I've already told you, that these resources, I'll have to change, these resources are limited, of course. Number two, the human wants are unlimited. And number three, and of course, when I am about to choose the best possible combinations, that means the resource can have many combinations to be used. And that is why every resource has a lot of alternate uses attached to it. That means every resource can be utilized in many ways, and that's why I need to choose the one best possible way, so that I can get the maximum satisfaction out of it. So limited resources, unlimited wants, and alternative use of resource, these are the major three reasons why we have the problems in an economy, and why do we study economics. These are the reasons. Okay, these are the major criteria. So, basics of economics I have covered. Now I move to basics of statistics. I am now going to cover what is statistics, why is it important, what are the limitations to it. So I will cover slowly each topic so that we are able to grasp it. Now, number one is meaning of statistics. Statistics as a word for you is mean, median, mode, which is wrong. It is just a very small part of it. Statistics is a very broad term, so it is defined in two ways. Number one, singular, and number two, plural. Two ways are basically, there are two ways to define statistics. Is it defined in a singular sense or a plural sense? Before I explain these two, I will again go back to just the introduction of it. According to me, now this is a subject which is defined differently by everybody. When you will go through the book or the notes that have been provided to you, you will see there are so many economists or statisticians defining the same thing differently, but it's the same thing. You focus on this part. It's the same thing, but it has been defined differently. It's all about perception, how you perceive it. So I will try to share my idea of statistics, and my objective is to cover as much part of it as possible, so that you also get the maximum idea about it. It's basically analysis of, or interpretation of, the available data. Now, what is a data? Data is the information about people, about objects, about activities, about things. It is simply information. The very basic example is like your information that has been feeded with the government. Like you have an Aadhaar card with the government. Now, your one Aadhaar card has your biometric detail, has your address, has your past, it could be linked to your bank account, and other activities also it could be linked to. So one Aadhaar card is giving a lot of information about you. That is data. But just having one person's data is not statistics. That is just a number. Having a lot of people's data is about statistics, because statistics is about comparing the existing numbers that we have together. It is about comparing them. Having just one number is not going to give me any conclusion. I need something, I need at least more than two, of course, three or four or more than that numbers to be able to compare and analyze. That is statistics. Of course, why would I want to just study one number? It's not going to help me. Okay, so it is analyzing, it is interpreting the data that is available to me. Now that data can be banks hold a lot of data about you, the number of transactions that you do from an account, the number of loans that you've taken, number of payments you've made, a number of times you missed the payments, or the maximum limit, maximum amount of transaction you have happened, you have mm, sorry, what happened, yeah, so maximum number of transactions that have happened in your account. So these are the data that you that anybody can collect about you, of course with your consent only. So the banks, the government, agencies, organizations, they use these data for statistical analysis. Why do they want to analyze? Why do you want to, क्या फर्क पड़ रहा है उनको? आपने जो करना है वो आपने ट्रांजैक्शन करनी ही है. Why are they so stressed about the data? It's because they want to study your behavior. Why? Because they want to predict what you would be doing in the future, so they could sell a better product. It's all about marketing. They want to earn. To earn, they want to know what could be your demand in the future. For that, they need to understand your demand in the present. And for that, they need to analyze the data. So these things are all connected. You have to understand that this statistics is not just mean, median, mode. It's a lot more than that. Okay, the purpose is not to just calculate that this is equal to mean. No, this is not the purpose. The purpose is to understand the behavior of the person that you are studying and be able to predict his or her decisions in the future, so that you can offer something to his help, of his help, and you can earn out of it also. So it's a win-win situation for both. The consumer also gets something that he might need, he doesn't know he might need, and you also get something in return. So that's how things are. And also I'll give you another example for statistics. Like banks, they give loans based on the statistical analysis of your historical data. They have your credit history, they know how you have been spending, they know how you have been earning, and only based on that they can give you a loan. So they are analyzing you, right? They are analyzing you compared to the other people who have come to take the loan. They're comparing all of you, and they're giving loans to the best of the lot who they think can easily repay the amount. Now you have got the gist of what is statistics. Now I will define it in singular sense and in plural sense. In singular sense, it is all about, like, what you have been doing is methods. What are the methods? जैसे मेथड्स में आपके आ जाती है सिंपल, आपने टैली बार किया, फ्रीक्वेंसी टेबल आ गया. Then you moved on to graphs, pie chart, mean, median, mode. These are all methods. So these are divided into 5 stages. We will cover those 5 stages, and this book is all about these 5 stages only. In plural sense, it is the data. What is statistics? It is the data. In plural sense, it is the data. In singular sense, it is the just methods, the stages. Plural sense, it is basically an aggregate summation of all the facts, which is numerically expressed according to a reasonable standards of accuracy. So all the data which is numerically expressed as per reasonable standards of accuracy for a predetermined purpose, and they are placed in relation to each other, so I can easily compare it. So plural is about data. Then singular, what is statistics in singular sense? It is basically the collection. I am now talking about 5 stages. The collection, the presentation, I will talk about these in detail also, analysis and interpretation. Collection, organization, presentation, analysis, and interpretation. These are the 5 stages of statistics that is the whole idea of this book that you're going to do till the end of the book also. So I have talked about uh, meaning of statistics and how do we define them in singular and plural sense. Now I will talk about the importance of statistics in real life. How important it is and why is it important? Where are the situations where we need statistics? I have already talked about two, three situations in this video. I will be discussing more such in detail one by one. Whatever I am writing on the board or I am discussing in the video is being shared with you via mail, so you need not worry about the content part that we don't have books. You are getting the PDF version of it, you're getting the notes, so don't worry about it. You can open them. In fact, it will be better for you to open them up and then also watch my video so that you're able to get a better idea of what is happening. Now, importance of statistics. Number one is uh, it helps in uh, I have written all of them in advance so that to save time. First thing I want to clarify is that we are referring to few books, not just one. So the terminology may change in each of the books. It is still all the same as long as you are able to write the correct answer or explain it properly. It doesn't matter what the heading is. The heading could be different, but it will all mean the same. That's what the essence is of having multiple books. So I have now written seven major importance of statistics. क्या क्या चीज़ें होती हैं, why do we need statistics? Number one is formulation of economic laws. Now I have not discussed microeconomics with you, so in that only we have talked about laws of economics, which is laws of demand, laws of supply. So it is fine now that it is not here. Economic laws, now it means basically a correlation, deriving a relation between two things, that when A goes up, what happens to B? Does it go up? Does it go down? Is there a change in B? Yes or no? This is kind of so laws is about relationships here. We derive relationships out of these laws. Statistics is all about analyzing, you're comparing. So if I want to derive a relationship between your credit history and your basically the probability of you returning the loan, that's a law that depending on how many times you have paid your dues in the past, I will be now able to determine whether you are capable of paying in the future or not. That's kind of a relationship that I am deriving. uh, Here economic laws is, in simple that we will be discussing is the law of demand. That means if something becomes expensive, people reduce their demand for it. So when the price goes up, the demand goes down. So that's an economic law. We have derived it only the with the usage of statistics. We analyzed different prices, different demands, and we derived this relationship. So this is the first one, that it helps in formulating the economic laws. Second one is understanding and solving. This is and solving economic problems. Now economic problems, they come in our daily lives in an economy, not as an individual, as an economy. Example, poverty, unemployment, or inequality. Now these are the problems. Now to solve them, statistics is required, that why is there so much of poverty in particular area, or what are the reasons, or what are the things that a government can do to tackle this kind of problem. Unemployment ki problem, why is it rising, why is it so intense in a specific region, what is the government doing? So all the activities, all the consequences of it are also studied under statistics, and these problems are then solved. That's how the policies are also made. So one of the um, of course the importances that I have not written here is formulation of government policies. So the government can also make policies based on statistics only. यानी कि when the government knows that the corruption is in on a high time rise, or there is a huge income inequality, then it can or maybe the students are not attending the school, so it came with the policy of midday meal. It realized that when students are offered food, they tend to attend the school more often. So to increase their attendance, to increase the literacy rate, they had to introduce a policy, midday meal policy. So formulation of policies are also done under statistics. We are here discussing the importance of statistics. Then the third one is establishing mathematical relationship. Mathematical relationship kaise hoga? Like I told you, here the laws were established. So before establishing the laws, we also established a mathematical relationship, like between the price and the demand. So these are two variables to basically I would say x and y. So we derive a relationship mathematically, what happens to y when x changes. So this is kind of a relationship that we establish using statistics. Then we also study the behavior. As I have told you, statistics helps me in studying the behavior of a consumer. Now here in the case of production also, so I can see how the producer behaves, I can see how the consumer behaves, and accordingly it's very important for the government to stabilize the economy, and for that they need to know the behavior of both producer and consumer. The government needs to know if we implement this particular policy, what, how would the producer, how would a consumer react to it. It's very important. So कंज्यूमर कैसे बिहेव कर रहा है, how he might behave in the future helps a lot in deciding our today's policies or making today's decisions. So a study of behavior is also, is the actually major crux of why we study economics, because we want to study people, because we want to analyze why something can happen, or why we should not do something, or why we should do something. Decision making is the biggest challenge that everybody faces in their life, and for that to make a decision, you need to be aware of what has happened in the past and what could happen in the future, and that's how you make a decision. And statistics helps us in both the scenarios. Then the price analysis. Pricing policies, basically it helps in solving the problem of inflation or any price instability in the market. Price analysis का मतलब क्या होता है कि it's basically what's the trend, whether the prices are going up, prices are going down, why is it, why when it goes up, why was it going up, when it went down, why did it go down. So these kinds of analysis are done to be to basically understand how the pricing thing works in the economy. Then predicting the demand, now very important for a businessman. He wants to predict a certain demand in the future. For that he has to start producing in the present. He cannot start producing in the future. See, he has to prepare in advance for a demand which is coming in the future. For that he needs to do a statistical analysis of what the consumers are purchasing right now and what is the current situation in the market. Also helps in the marketing strategy of any producer. Marketing strategy का मतलब है कि if I announce this particular policy or a scheme or a discount or a waiver today, how is it going to benefit me in the future. Looking at the current situation, maybe I should give this thing for free, or maybe I should complement A with B. A good sell करते हुए I can give B also as a complimentary good free दे दिया. So that's a strategy, that how you're increasing the demand of your products using your strategy. So how do you decide what strategies to be used? It depends on how your consumer base is and how they behave in the market. So again, the behavior helps you in deriving the strategy of what you could be, what strategy, what decision you could make in the future or in the present, so that going forward things fall into place and you're able to meet your required target. So I have discussed the importance of statistics. Before that, I have introduced statistics, how to define it in singular and plural sense. and before that we have understood what is economics, what are the activities, what are the non-economic activities, and then in economic activities there is production, there's consumption, there's distribution. uh, so far we have introduced all the topics in detail. Whatever I have written on the board, you already have it in your mail, so you need not worry. It's fine, you can still take a screenshot of it. This video will remain here. You can visit this video anytime again also. For doubts you can mail me. I will respond on that. After doing a few more topics we can have a doubt session if you require. You can let me know of that. Okay then, goodbye and take care.